Hi, and welcome to A Faith That Loves. I'm Faith, and today we're going to do a segment called A Faith That Loves Cooking. And boy, do I love cooking. So today, it's Wednesday, and I have to cook dessert for our Wednesday night church dinner. So I thought, why don't you come along with me, and I can show you how I make blondies, or chocolate chip cookie bars, which I love a chocolate chip cookie in any form. Cookie or bar, however you put it. If it's got chocolate in it, I'm all for it. So here we go. We're going to start with 1 cup, well, a half a cup of melted butter, 1 stick, 1 stick of butter melted. Go ahead and put that into your bowl or your mixer, whatever you have handy, whatever you have. Got my handy kitchen towel. I have my Trustful KitchenAid that I love to use. You're also going to you're going to get 2 cups of brown sugar. You can use light or dark. I kind of like the dark one for this. A little bit richer flavor. Oh, and I also use a half a cup measuring cup because it's easier to get into most of my vessels that I have for my stuff, and I don't like to do a lot of dishes. So I like to use 1 size measuring cup for everything, and this is just easier for me because I can use it in all my stuff, and sometimes you only need a half a cup of something, and sometimes you need 1 cup, and sometimes you need a cup and a half, and so this just makes it easier for me. That's 2 cups. There we go. Gotten all that brown sugar off my hands. So we have 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 stick of melted butter. I'm going to turn on my KitchenAid and let it blend up just for a little bit, just until it gets nice and, incorporated, all yummy looking, soft and fluffy or however. Okay, next I have 2 eggs, and I'm going to take my 2 eggs and I'm going to crack them into the measuring cup that I use my butter in. Again, keeping all dishes down to a minimum. I don't want to get out a separate bowl to crack eggs in, and I could crack them right in here, but if I get eggshells in them, I'm not going to be able to find them ever again, and somebody's going to bite down on their cookie bar, and it's going to be all crunch, 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 not good. So this way it just saves me from getting another bowl dirty and helps me to be able to see if I got shells in there, which I didn't. And then I'm just going to add these one at a time into my brown sugar and butter mixture. Dun, 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 dun. Like that. Second one, going in. Here we go. Okay, no eggshells, we're beautiful. That's looking good. Rinsing my hands, get all that yucky stuff off there. Little rinse just like that. Dry them off. Okay, so now that I have my butter, my brown sugar, my eggs in there, now I'm going to add a little vanilla. And I got to tell you, I don't really measure too much. It's supposed to be like, I don't know, a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half or maybe 2 teaspoons. I really like vanilla. I really like the flavor. I don't want to overdo it, but I don't necessarily stick to a recipe when it comes to vanilla. I just kind of eyeball it and I kind of pour it in, whatever looks good to me. And that looked good to me. There we go. So, now that's all done. I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to lower this. Now, I told you before, I'm not a big fan of getting a whole bunch of pans and dishes dirty. So, at this point, most real bakers, I'm not a real baker, most real bakers would take a separate bowl and measure out their dry ingredients and then get them all incorporated in and incorporate them into the wet mixture. I'm just going to add my dry ingredients to my wet mixture, but don't tell all those bakers out there that I did that. They don't agree. Okay, so, but it saves me having to do dishes, and really, I don't like to do a lot of dishes, so it's much better for me. Okay, I'm just going to wipe off really good. Matter of fact, I'm going to take my towel and just kind of give this a really good, because it just had brown sugar on it. but I don't want to get that brown sugar into my flour because, again, I'm using the same measuring cup for this that I used for my brown sugar, and it's a half a cup, and we need a cup and a half of flour in here. So I'm just gonna do half a cup. I'm gonna sprinkle that, and then 1 cup. And I think it's okay. Now, normally if I were doing 2 cups, I would go ahead and blend it up at this point and then do the second batch. But since it's just a cup and a half, I'm just gonna go ahead and add just like this and then blend it up. But before I add that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my baking powder and my salt. And we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, just like this. 1 and 2. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt because you always need salt with a little bit of salt, especially with chocolate. It just gives it a really nice balance. So it's just add a little tiny bit right there, salt. And we're done. Now we're gonna pull this up just like so. Put it on the lowest setting so your powder doesn't fly all over. Just kind of let that, and then after it gets incorporated a little bit, then you can turn up the speed a little bit more just to get it all really good in there, like so. It's all nice and done now. And you're gonna see when you do this, I'll show you in just a second, but when you're done, your batter's gonna be a really brownish looking color from that dark brown sugar. And that is now done. Just like that. Now I will show you what this looks like. It's a really thick, just like cookie dough. Kind of a thicker batter. Not quite as thick. It's not quite as thick as brownie batter. That's my son Dylan. You just heard it in the background.
No, yes. Hold it right there.
And he's trying to give some of his own advice on how to make this.
Mom, I know how to make.
See? He knows how to make
Mom,
this.
I know how to make this something.
Yeah, I know you do. Okay, so if you can kind of see in there, that's what my batter looks like. I'll try to find the camera. There we go. So that's what she looks like. Now you got to add your chocolate chips. And again, I don't really measure because I like a chocolate chip, and I'm not one of those who wants to go skimpy on my chocolate chips. And you can tell I buy my chocolate chips by.
I like a chocolate chip.
Oh, and Dylan likes them too. I buy them by the giant bag size, not like little bitty 1 bag's gonna make my whole day. This is good for a month or so of baking yummy desserts. So I'm just gonna dump this in. Whatever looks good to you, whatever looks good to me. And at this point, if you like nuts, now would be a good time to add your nuts, whatever kind you like, pecans, walnuts, whatever. Also, this is like, you don't have to do chocolate chips. You could do white chocolate chips. You could do butterscotch chips. You could do a little different kinds of they have all these yummy chocolate chip things out there now. Cherry flavored ones and mint ones. So you could do mint in these. You could do whatever you want. I am a traditionalist when it comes to this. I kind of really enjoy just a chocolate chip cookie. So that's what I got. Now we're just going to take our prepared 9x13 pan, which I've already sprayed and got it all ready, and we're going to dump this in our pan, just like so. And then after we get it in the pan, it goes in the oven at 350 degrees for, well, I'd like to tell you I know an exact time. I don't really know an exact time. I think it's probably about 40 minutes, 20 minutes. I know that's a huge difference. Try 30. And you want it to come out like, you know, like a brownie would. So a little tiny bit of moisture on your toothpick is okay, and then you pull it out and it will set up a little more. Kind of like cookies do. You know, when you take a cookie out, it's a little moist in the middle, but then after you let it sit for a while, it gets all good and yummy, 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 and it's all hard. And I don't even mind a little bit of that gooiness in mine because Becca, don't take his book. because I like cookie dough. So we kind of don't mind if it's underdone just a little bit. I'm not scared of my eggs. Dylan's having a conversation with himself back there. I'm sure you can hear. Yes, I'm spreading this all around. And I will get to this in just a second, so I will show you what it looks like in my pan, and then it'll go in the oven. And that's it for bacon today. So that's it for me. A faith that loves cooking, and a faith that especially loves cooking chocolate chip cookies and cookie dough. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. So enjoy, have a great day, and eat some blondies. They're good.